Hello everyone, and welcome back to another canon-filled episode brought to you by the Halo Collective! My name is Ricky Seguda, and thanks for joining us. Over the past few weeks, there has been a lot of new canon being thrown around as the January update approaches. Canon fodder has been more than just selfless, and has provided tons of great canon. However, this most recent canon fodder just has too much to put into one episode. Then again, allowing myself to split up the various subjects brought up in this week's canon fodder, it will allow me to go into more depth than what I would have been able to had I placed it all in just one long video. Though as the title of this particular video states, we are going to be focusing around the Achilles Mjolnir armor. So let's jump into what we had been gifted, because obviously B is for Bravo is a very loving guy. The diffusion and maturation of Mjolnir technology and standards, with little oversight and the promise of massive profits, even small industrial design firms and military subcontractors have begun exploring new directions and markets, using the common Gen 2 Mjolnir software and exoskeleton as a springboard for their own innovations. For example, RKD Group designed the Mermillion class armor, but contracted actual production with Korolev Heavy Industries, and licensed the suit's bios from Applied Heuristics. Even established vertically integrated military-industrial concerns such as the... Oh my god, I don't know how to... Oh god. Oh, I'm just gonna write the word up on the screen right now. If you can pronounce this, feel free, but it's going on ahead. No longer control all aspects of their suits, tactical packages, and software. The normalization of neural interfaces in the population. Expensive and requiring complicated surgery when first introduced, neural interfaces and their mediating computing systems can be fitted in a simple outpatient clinical procedure by 2557. High bandwidth interfaces can be paired with advanced expert systems, augment, and even bypass the human motor system, reducing the physiological stress of high performance combat exoskeletons to levels that do not require extensive skeletal reinforcement. This innovation, initially a secondary line of research during Project Mjolnir's early days, was crucial for the Spartan 3 and Spartan 4 programs. The proliferation of once secret human augmentation techniques, surreptitious recovery of Spartan tissue and organs, industrial espionage, independent research, and the release of some augmentation protocols for medical use has substantially eroded the UNSC's monopoly on super soldiers. Though the knowledge and tools are now available for any sufficiently motivated and wealthy private party to replicate a Spartan equivalent enhancement package, few see the need to match the recruiting standards and scope enhancement afforded to the UNSC Spartans, and are willing to settle for cheaper, more invasive augmentations with unknown medical drawbacks and psychological costs. Many of the gene therapies, artificial organ implants, and cybernetic enhancements used in the Spartan 4 program are also irreversible, with few within the military or government forecasting the impact these men and women will have when they leave military service and re-enter civilian life. It remains even more of an open question that will happen to and with potentially unstable, partially augmented personnel that lack the training and support available to former Spartans. Fractures in the UNSC's military power. With the unified Earth government stretched to the limits, it has afforded greater autonomy to the mega corporations, approving militarization of their security forces and greater exploitation of colonial subsidiaries in the name of stability and reconstruction. Corporate princes in the boardrooms of Leon Dortmund, Synoviet Heavy Machinery, Traxxas, and Jacoburides Standard Systems, among others, have exploited their freedom to expand business empires at the expense of colonies and citizens still reeling from war and economic dislocation. With their high-level business intelligence and planning already dominated by smart AIs, these titans of industry may also serve as useful proxies for the created. Incorporation of alien knowledge into human industry. Even with an understanding of how to manipulate energy shields or generate plasma, many of the I can speak. Many of the advanced sciences utilized by the Covenant and foreigners are exploited by a tiny handful of corporate research facilities and UNSC labs. Humanity is still in the process of producing the tools to make parts for factories that can begin to make these wondrous items. Even using relatively plug-and-play assembler vats acquired from the swords of Sanghelios and Kigyar merchants requires a deep understanding of Covenant semiology and Sanshayum pattern language that is difficult to master. But necessity, I can speak, damn it, breeds invention and study of alien wonders has broadened humanity's understanding of physics and mastery of esoteric chemistry, allowing researchers to leapfrog centuries of trial and error experimentation and theory building. Syncretism and foreigner technology. After ties deepened with the Arbiter and his allies, his Sangheli artisans began to reap the benefits of cheap and simple human automation aids. Revelations of foreigner language and command code that had been locked away by the prophets, and entirely new modalities of thought and systems of investigation, using foreigner knowledge reclaimed by humans as a renaissance, has begun among the Sangheli artisans eager to explore, new to them however, avenues of knowledge, demolishing opaque rules and taboos that shackled their craft under the Covenant. Even as the created moved to control both species and safely circumscribe their destructive tendencies, it seems inevitable that the combination of iconalistic Sangheli artisans and insatiably curious human engineers will lead to wonders and terrors yet undreamed of. I've got to admit though, that was a mouthful. Honestly, that was a lot to read. And because it was a lot to also take in, after me sitting here, after reading all of that, I've been here for about 5 minutes or so just thinking it over and whatnot, what it exactly means. And what it comes down to is that the Achilles armor, with all of that information that was provided, I'll be sure to leave the link to the actual cannon fodder in the description below, but for those of you who just want to skip over that and want to get straight to the point of what the Achilles armor is, there's corporations out there who are cutting corners and trying to make sure that the Mjolnir suits and everything that goes into making a Spartan is done as quickly and beneficially to their bank accounts than it is to the actual human becoming a Spartan or anybody involved in the creation of said suits, bios, or anything else along the lines. And with everything that they've provided here is that they've also made AIs who would go into these specific armors. There's a difference between smart AIs and dumb AIs. Smart AIs are something along the lines of Cortana, Black Box, etc., while others are really just unnamed and work within the suit itself and never really get seen by the public or even the Spartan themselves. However, these dumb AIs that these corporations are making are different. They work in a way that feed off of the emotions of the wearer. And so those people who wear the Achilles armor, because the Achilles has cut multiple corners and has gone so far as to be a danger to the person who wears it, the AI is also a danger to the person who wears it. The AI focuses on the negative emotion of the Achilles wearer, which eventually causes insanity. The people who wear Achilles eventually go insane, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. The only thing that can help sustain them is actually their own group, their team, their Spartan company. And that's also what B4 for Bravo is getting at here when he says, let me find it, there it is. Where the mythical Achilles had Patroclus to temper his madness, Spartans have clan and kith in the Spartan company to keep them sane and calm. This is essentially having to do with, because you have to get Spartan company commendations to get this Achilles armor. Now you have to, well, you know, it means something for the Achilles to be with the Spartan company, with their group, with their team, with their fire team, as that's the only way they stay sane. So take that into consideration when looking at the Achilles armor and even putting it on. There's a lot of canon behind it, and that's actually really awesome for them to do something for an armor set. But that's all I have for this time. There's still a lot more to cover in this canon fodder, but we're already at 10 minutes. So be sure to come back, because I'm going to be making more episodes. So if you like anything and everything Halo, be sure to subscribe to the Halo Collective, because we provide anything and everything Halo, except porn. We just don't do porn.